Hello, goddesses. Welcome to day 3 of self-care tips and tools. I am Shamika Andrews, disability advocate and consultant. I hope you have found these last few days useful and found some tips and tools that you can implement in your own life. So let's begin with day 3. So the first tip and tool that I'm going to talk about today was probably one of the hardest for me to implement in my own life, and it is a daily struggle and practice for me to implement this in my own life as a person who is a constant people pleaser. Let me know if you're a people pleaser. You know, we all want people to like us, and we're always afraid of what people are going to say. Will they like us? Will they care? You know, things like that. So even though I knew and still know that this was an important tool in my life, it was very difficult and still very difficult for me to implement it. And that is setting boundaries. Do you have issues with setting boundaries? But boundaries are so important to our life and to our self-care. So a couple of things that I implemented in my own life that I've learned from other coaches and things like that is setting email messages and your phone on vacation. You know, being entrepreneurs and, you know, light workers and all of those things, people, just everyday people, seem to want to have access to you 24 hours a day. And that is not always the best thing for your overall health and self-care. So sometimes we need to shut those phones off, shut the email off, stop looking at the Facebook. That's one I'm still working on. I live on Facebook a lot, but we're all a work in progress, right? So, like I said, set a vacation message on your Facebook. You can also do this on Facebook. An away message that says, you know, thank you for reaching out to me. I will get back to you as soon as I can, or something along those lines. Or you can say, I will answer my messages, you know, between this time and this time. You know, whatever works for you in your life. On my phone and on my messages, I have, it says, you know, that I don't answer calls before 9 a.m. and I don't answer calls after 9 p.m. because that's kind of like my downtime, or that I'm working or finishing up other projects, so I don't want to be disturbed by phone calls or, you know, things like that. The other thing that you can do is put on your do not disturb feature on your phone and on your computer, so you are not interrupted by messages and, you know, notifications and things like that. Hi, Leah. You know, or you can just turn your notifications off altogether. I don't always do this. Sometimes if I'm working on an important project and I don't want to see the notifications, I will just put on do not disturb, and, you know, and then I'm not getting notifications during a certain period of time. But you can just turn them off altogether, and then you won't get the notifications throughout the day, and then you just check it whenever you decide to turn on your email or whenever you decide to turn on Facebook or whatever other platforms that you're on. So that can be useful to your self-care and to your, just overall health. Speaking of which, and I forgot, excuse me, to shut off. Speaking of phones, I forgot to turn off the phone before I came on, so excuse me, sorry for that. But yes, turning off the notifications, turning off the volume is very helpful. So you're not being disturbed by those notifications constantly. And I don't know about you, but all the dings and rings kind of, irritate me. So I turn the sound off as well. So you don't hear the dings and the rings and all of that. So that can be very helpful, whether you want to do the away message or, just turn notifications off or use do not disturb. Those are all ways of kind of setting a boundary, for not only for for other people, but for yourself as well, because we can be on the phone or on Facebook or the computer for hours on end, and time just slips away, and before we know it, we're on Facebook and whatever for hours at a time. So that can be very useful. The other thing that I found useful as far as setting boundaries is to implement an evening and night routine, an evening and morning routines. So I know that I'm only going to do, like during the night, my kind of get ready to slow down time, no work, no whatever, no interruptions from visitors, is at like 8 o'clock. So anybody that knows me personally knows that I don't like visitors after 8 o'clock. I don't like phone calls after 8 o'clock. So that's kind of my wind down time, because I don't know about you, but I have trouble sleeping at night. So that's also a way to kind of get my body to relax and start to relax when it's that time of day, when that 7:30 time starts to hit. My body knows that it's time to get ready to relax, get ready to go to bed. I usually do things like meditation, reading a book, listening to some soft music, taking a hot shower, things like that. Getting ready for the next day can be a part of your night routine, so you're not rushing around in the morning to get clothes out, to get lunches done. So I try to get a lot of that stuff done the evening before, so I'm not rushing around. And it also helps me to wind down, to wind my body down, and to wind my mind down. The other thing is, if you're like me, your mind is racing, you have all of these thoughts at night. The other thing that I've implemented to help with that is to keep a journal next to my bed. So I journal at night. So if there's any thoughts running through my head before I go to bed, I'll write them down in a journal, so I'm not thinking about them anymore. So they're going from my head into the journal. I close it and put it away. And that helps me clear out my mind, for sleeping. So those are some of the things And as I said before, another part of my night routine is to give myself a foot massage, which is very relaxing. It also, with me and my disability, helps with circulation. So if you have problems or issues with circulation in your feet or anything like that, doing the massage, whether it's you do it yourself or you have a partner or whatever, it's very useful if you have issues with circulation, like I do. Massages can be very helpful. So the other thing is, if you like massage, massages, going to a spa, everybody can't go to a spa. So you can buy like one of those little spa bath things. You can get them like at Walmart and, soak your feet in that. Or I also, if I'm going to get a massage, I go to the massage school here. We have a massage school. We have a couple actually here in the area that offers discount massages. So you can get a massage for like $40 for an hour. So it's a lot cheaper than going to a regular spa. So that's something else that you can look into as far as self-care and, setting boundaries. Another part of setting boundaries is not being afraid to say no. If you're like me, again, you want to say yes to everybody, and, especially if it's family or whatever. You don't want to say no, or you feel guilty for saying no. But somebody, again, sometimes I hear things and I don't remember where they came from, but I heard somebody say that saying no to someone else is saying yes to yourself. So I like that a lot. So it's saying yes to you. Sometimes you have to say no to other people. So that's also part of our self-care. So that's very important. And don't feel that you have to make up an excuse just to say no. Another quote that I like is, no is a complete sentence. So you don't need to explain. I always felt, when I'm saying no to people, that I have to come up with this like big excuse of, okay, I have a doctor's appointment, I have to say I'm sick, I have to say, but no, the answer is just, no, I'm sorry, I can't, no. So you don't need to have some big drawn out explanation for why you can't do whatever it is that they asked you to do. So with that, the next one I want to talk about is celebrating our accomplishments. And one of the things that, if we have a goal, we're always focused on the end, right? Well, I'm not there yet. But there are steps, along the way. Each milestone that we accomplish, we should celebrate, no matter how big or how small. If you're halfway to your goal, like for me, I'm going through a fitness program right now. And, it's a 90-day program. And I'm halfway, through the program. So that's something to celebrate, right? So one of the things rituals that I've kind of implemented in my own life is to write down one thing every day that I've accomplished that I'm proud of. So it doesn't matter how big or small it is. So that's also very important to my self-care and being able to stay in that positive, high vibe mindset, and to be able to, I actually write it down in my journal, to be able to look back, and I always keep all of my journals. So being able to keep, and look back at what I've accomplished always, makes me feel good. So that's another thing that you can implement. in your own life. So the next thing that is important with that and with setting goals and things like that is to decide that you are enough. A lot of times we don't go for whatever goals that we set out for ourselves because we don't believe that we're strong enough or pretty enough or smart enough or whatever. Once you decide that you are enough, it will take you so much further. Decide that you are good enough for that job, that you are, smart enough and pretty enough for that partner, and go for whatever it is, whatever your big dream is. Is it to get married? Is it to, start your own business? Whatever it is, you are enough for that goal. Whatever dream you have for your own life, you are good enough to make that dream come true. And you just have to, the belief comes from you, and it starts with you. You have to believe it in order to achieve it, which sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true. At least I believe it is. And with that, to wrap up, is to trust in your own abilities. Being a person with a disability, it's very easy to, or if you have any kind of health challenge, to focus on what you cannot do, what you can't do versus what you are capable of doing. So it's really easy for me to kind of get down in the dumps with myself and say, oh, well, I can't do this, I can't do that, or whatever. But the thing about it is we can all do something, no matter what the challenges are in our life, whether it's a health challenge or whatever other kind of challenges you have in your life. You can have success in your life, and you can accomplish what you set out to accomplish if you decide that that's what you want to do. But it all begins with a decision. So you have to decide that you are enough to make whatever dream you have come true. So with that said, one of the things that I like to do to end or begin a talk that goes with that is to use this quote. It's by Edward Everett Hale. And the quote goes like this: I am one. I'm only one, but still I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. And I won't let what I can't do interfere with what I can. So my final message to you, goddesses, thank you for joining me for this 3 days. I hope you will use some of these tips and implement them in your own life. Let me know if you are doing any of these things, or what are some of the self-care tips and tools that you use in your own life. And I hope you have a fabulous day. And thank you once again for joining me. Thank you, Leah, for this opportunity. And I hope you all have a good night. Namaste.